Hey, good morning everybody, and welcome to the vlog. I hope the start of your day is truly incredible. I'm going to need your help a little bit today, and what I mean by that is I'm going to need your imagination. Do you remember when we first started to think about the Reptarium, the original one, and I brought you in and I kind of shared that kind of vision with you? We're going to have a huge cage for Bella over here that's going to be absolutely mammoth. She deserves so much room. She loves to run around the shop. I'm going to definitely do a big tortoise pen over here, and then we'll have a middle aisle right here that comes right down the middle that is going to be back-to-back cages. Again, all natural, beautiful setups, tall enclosures, big enough for everything. And then ultimately we're going to do another row right on this side. And I'm thinking about building right here in the very front. I'm thinking about building another pond where I can put Bowser. And I want that pond to have clear sight so people can actually see in. And how about when we got this building that was a tattoo shop and I shared that vision with you? When you walk through that walkway and get over to here, you're going to see this amazing, big, huge cage that's going to be absolutely like a little jungle, right? And then behind it, down this center aisle, again, these walls will be gone. Down this center aisle is going to be a whole bunch of other cages and stuff like that that have all kinds of things in it that I'm super excited about. Not exactly sure what the design's going to be yet, but we're working on that. Over here, again, this wall will be set back like 6 foot, but there'll be the fish spas right here. And then I'm going to do a really cool corner cage with a huge glass front that you can enter in. I think I'm going to do a boreal tree monitors in there. I think it's going to be a really cool cage. Then finally we'll have like a gift area over here where we'll have some more stuff. Bear with me here because now I want to talk to you about what the future is of the Reptarium, or what I hope the future is, and it has to do with that wall right there. That's right. What is the future of the Reptarium and what I call Reptarium 3.0 and what I want to do? And it's going to start with the expansion that way. So obviously we want a very similar opening to this that joined the old Reptarium and the new Reptarium, right? Basically the same type of thing. And right now if you look over here, we don't have a lot of space. If we move the tortoises out, we only have this. So my solution to that is to actually remove these two enclosures here, Casper and Sunrise. These would come out and they would eventually go over into the new expansion, and then I would take Lucy's cage and I'd move it over to here. That would basically put me at about where Nova's cage is right there. Now I could make this opening the same size here, right here. So this would be the opening itself right here that you would walk into the new Reptarium, or the Reptarium 3.0. But that's just the beginning. That's the least of the things I have to worry about now, because it's not just the fact that we're going through, but obviously we have BHB next door. So what's going to happen to BHB?
So you guys know Elvis is a rock star here at the Reptarium. So many kids, adults, everyone comes and visits him. You can pet him on the face, you can pet him right after he eats. It's absolutely no problem. But with that being said, he still does flinch when we walk by him if you make too fast of movements, unlike Toothless, who's a little more calm and willing to accept random things coming towards his face. So even though he can be a little skittish around us sometimes, he is very food motivated, which makes it super easy to ball train him, get him to do tricks, come up your leg, run him around the Reptarium for a nice show for everyone. However, Toothless is amazing here. We've never seen him flinch. We've had him ever since he was a little baby, and he's not afraid of humans in the least. But with him being so calm and so habituated to us, he also isn't food driven. So it makes it a little harder to ball train him, get him to do tricks like Elvis can. But with all that being said, we are super excited to see how he's going to turn out when he is older, because he's going to be just as big as Elvis, just as amazing, but maybe a little less afraid of people.
So obviously we have all the animals here at BHB, of course the colubrid room, the gecko room here, and even the office is up front here. Obviously this can't be Reptarium 3.0 with all this stuff here, so the plan is to move all of this stuff, as well as all of the stuff in the dungeon, actually to the other basements, right? So all three units, the Reptarium 2.0, and BHB have basements the same size as the upstairs. So the plan is to move everything from the dungeon, upstairs BHB, the offices, everything into the basements of the Reptarium and the Reptarium 2.0. That way we could have this basement totally open. Now you may be asking, Brian, why do you want the basement open over at BHB? And that's because this opening here that will be opening going into the 3.0 will not only be an upstairs expansion, basically the same size as the expansion over here, but there'll also be a basement expansion. But that does lead a little bit of an issue, because you can't have a basement with the public with only one stairway. Take a look at guys, Ben and Jerry shed out, and I see at least one head right here in the shed. And do I see another head here? I can't tell. No, they always rip them. That's the one thing that they always do. But they did shed in one piece. They have no stuck shed on them. Absolutely look incredible. I mean, just look at how beautiful that snake is right there. Oh, here's the other head. Look at that. The other head's right here. So we got one head on this side and one head on that side. So pretty cool. Again, other than the heads, which obviously they have to rip because there's no way they could do it with that V right there, it was a completely perfect shed and they look absolutely spectacular.
Well, Brian, as usual, is always looking at the next best thing he wants to do. So Reptarium 3.0, I think is what he's calling it, seriously, is the next thing on his list. While I always give him crap for things, and I'm really not in a mood to start that yet, I do see the plus sides to doing it. Ultimately, you know, we love the Reptarium and what it has become, and then there is potential to expand in there. I'm not going to encourage it at this immediate moment because, I mean, face it, we're not even open right now, so how can I be thinking about making it bigger? But that being said, the ideas that we have, if and when we do it, are pretty cool, and I think it would definitely take it to a next level and kind of blow people's minds away. So, like I said, maybe not right now, but I could see that being in the future.
And this is where some imagination is going to come in. Basically, right here, that wall, Beth, hi Beth, by the way. This wall here will actually be the wall that actually joins the 3.0 to the 2.0, meaning I need a stairway right here. Right here at this wall, there needs to be a stairway. That way I can have a stairway in, and I can have a stairway out, and I can actually be open for the public.
A lot of you guys may actually not know, but I love red-tailed boas. It was one of the first snakes I ever owned, and probably be the last snake I ever owned, really. I'll be 80 years old with a red-tailed boa. But actually the second snake I ever got, believe it or not, was actually a carpet python. Now, I love carpet pythons. Actually, anything the Morelia species, green cheek pythons. I mean, even this guy right here, like a central carpet python. But one thing that I actually thought was really interesting that I want to show you guys is actually why they're called carpet pythons. Now, believe it or not, when you look at a carpet python, they all have these really beautiful aberrant patternings, whether it's the central, whether it's the easterns, whether it's the jungle carpets and the coastals and stuff. In fact, people used to think that they actually look a lot like Middle Eastern carpeting. So that's why they actually refer to them as carpet pythons. So I've actually got loves to nip out here for you. I personally love like just the classics, man, the jungles and the coastals. My first carpet was a coastal, but man, there's a reason people love these jungles, man. They're gorgeous, gorgeous. They're very attentive animals. They move around. I like the way they pick their heads up a little bit more. To me, it's just like a more semi-arboreal type snake that just really would just you fall in love with very quickly.
And yes, this is snow. Yeah, welcome to Michigan. And before we get into what's going to happen in the basement in the 3.0 with the expansion, let's just talk about when you walk through here. Again, this enclosure is going to be over. There's going to be an opening. Tortoises are going to get moved. You'll actually have a stairway right where basically Steve is walking right now. You can go down that way, or you can go this way back into the upstairs. So basically, you're going to have another expansion similar to Reptarium 1.0 or Reptile 2.0, but you'll be able to walk through basically just like I'm walking through here, and there's going to be a bunch of other cages and stuff like that. We'll have more reptiles, and by the way, I'm hoping we'll have a sloth exhibit, and we may even have another mammal exhibit. I'm not sure, maybe a venomous section. Not 100% sure how that's going to go, but the upstairs will just be another expansion. So essentially, we doubled the Reptarium when we went to 2.0. Now we're actually talking about doubling again, going from 2 units to 4 units with upstairs and downstairs. More imagination needed. So I'm actually in the Reptarium 2.0's basement. So let's pretend that this is BHB. We've moved out all of the stuff out of the dungeon, and this is basically open. This would be basically right below the tortoise pen, if you get the idea. So now that stairway is going to come down right here into this entire area. Again, this would be under BHB now, so again, imagination, guys. So the idea is to have swimming experiences down here. So you would walk down, and it would almost feel like a cave down here. We'd do it out like with Universal Rock Cave, it'd be really cool. And what I want is 20 foot long by probably 15 plus foot enclosures that you can have Salt the alligator in here, where you can actually go swimming with Salt. That's right, you could book a time to go swimming with Salt. I want another 20-foot long aquatic enclosure that's gonna have maybe Ivy the anaconda, or another anaconda, or maybe a big retic that, again, you could do swimming with if you want. Another 20-foot long aquarium that would actually be a stingray, saltwater stingray tank, where you could feed and actually go swimming with stingrays. And then of course we'd have a bunch of other cool enclosures on this side. This experience will be, again, more like a cave. You know, it doesn't have high ceilings, but it's gonna feel really cool and stuff like that, with all these cool swimming experiences, and maybe even some fish, to be totally honest with you. So this will be much more aquatic down here.
So that was really good. You can obviously see my arm is a little smaller than Bruce's, so he actually does a little better when he comes out on Bruce's arm. But he still came out, which is great, so this is a great interaction. He's not running away from us, he's still like, do you have more food for me?
Holy cow, Salt and Pepper look amazing, don't they? And you know, I just love building a dream, right? I want to build this into one of the coolest reptile places you can go in the world. I just want people to have amazing experiences. And but listen, not gonna lie, I can't avoid the truth of the matter. We're not even open right now, right? And who knows when we're gonna be open? We don't know. So the idea was to eventually start this expansion in November and hopefully be ready by, you know, again, March of next year with this new expansion. With the fact that we don't even know what the future is, we're obviously not making any income right now. It'd be silly for me and all kinds of levels to put the kind of money, because this would be the biggest investment that I would ever have made into the Reptarium. To put that money, to put the sweat equity, to work so hard at it, it's just silly. I mean, obviously I can't imagine this happening in November, but I really do hope that maybe by the end of the year or very beginning of next year, hopefully we're back on track, things are back to normal. I sure hope so anyways. That's when we get started, and then maybe by early summer we would be done with the expansion. Not 100% sure how it's going to go. There's a lot of things going on, but I was just excited and wanted to share with you guys what I was thinking about the future, because even though we're kind of in this shelter-in spot, we're not open, all this stuff, it's easy to just not do stuff. I always want to move forward, right? I want to always be thinking, so I'm taking this time to do amazing things, like obviously the virtual tours and the shout-outs are keeping me busy. I'm always trying to think of ways to kind of keep going forward and not get stuck down in the rut. So I wanted to share this experience with you and let you know what my thoughts are, and I really want to know from you guys down in the comments if you think this is a good idea, a bad idea, if you'd be excited about it, what else should I add to upstairs or downstairs. I want to bring you guys along on the journey, and with any luck we get back to some normalcy, and this actually happens by the summer of 2021. Look at guys, Ivy actually looks like almost completely normal. Looks like the lump is completely down. Again, got to do more maintenance every single day on her enclosure. That's the problem with feeding her a big meal, is that she definitely makes a little bit of mess. But I think tomorrow I'm actually going to weigh her. Remember last time we weighed her, she was 55 pounds. And when I got her, she was under 7 foot. So maybe we'll measure her to see how much she's grown and then weigh her to see how much she weighs now. What an amazing animal. Absolutely love her to death. And I'd like to do more enclosures like this in Reptarium 3.0. I love the fact that my turtles are starting to become a little bit more brazen and coming up for food and stuff like that. They still hide a bunch, but at least they're starting to kind of become more social, which is what I really wanted to do in the meantime. And let me know in the comments what you guys think about this expansion. Should I do it? When should I do it? Are you excited about it? What do you want me to add? All that type of stuff. As a matter of fact, you guys can look through an entire playlist of us building the Reptarium. You can also listen to my podcast. We had a banger this last time over here. It's called Checking In. Please subscribe to that one. Subscribe to this channel over here as well. I really do appreciate you guys. Have an amazing day. Remember to be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you guys tomorrow.